We are starting Missing Pieces with a bang here, my friends. Just about to start the show, and my phone rang, and it was my father-in-law. You know, my father-in-law who's always finding me these epic Lego deals and doing the yard sale hunting and all that. Apparently, he was up at their camp and fishing, and he got to talking to a guy that was up there. And I don't know how the conversation came to it, but he told my father-in-law that he has about 17 pounds of Lego that he's looking to unload. So I got his phone number and I'm going to give him a call here after this episode, but that could be awesome. Apparently it's from like the 80s. So we might have some gems in there. And he talked about a ship. So you old vintage Lego, I don't want to say old you. You're not old. You're not old. You're still young at heart. All you vintage Lego collectors, your gears can start spinning as to what that is. It might turn into nothing, but it's nice that he's always out there on the grind for me, and I'm super appreciative of that. Just great people. Maybe he's even listening. Probably not. He probably has other things to do. But welcome, everyone, to episode 101, if we're still keeping track, of Missing Pieces. If this is your first time watching or listening, man, you've got a lot of catching up to do. This is the series where or not the series. Should we start over again? This is the podcast where I sit down and I discuss my life, Lego, and anything else that's on my mind, including bins of Lego that I can just dream about what's in there. Last week, I discussed my goals and dreams for the next 100 episodes, where I'd like to be by episode 200. And I asked you guys to do the same, and some of you left comments, and we'll be reading those in this listener feedback episode. But before we get to that, I have some things that happened this week that I want to talk about, including my win of the week. And my win of the week is an awesome one. It's something that I've been talking about for a few weeks, but really just kind of took off this week. And that is my new live streaming series, 5 a.m. Lego. 5 a.m. Lego is pretty much what it sounds like. I come down to the studio slightly before 5. I click some buttons and I go live with whoever's there at 5 a.m. And lo and behold, there's a lot of people there at 5 a.m. I wasn't sure how this would go. I was thinking, now most of my audience is asleep. They're all in bed. They're not going to be there. But it turns out that there's actually a lot of people from all over the world that are interested in just hanging out with me for an hour or two while I work on Lego sets and build stuff. This week we built the Creator pickup truck, which if you're watching this, I'll show it to you right now. If you're listening, I'm sorry. This isn't going to be the best experience. I know some of you guys are on Apple Podcast and Spotify, but here is my dark red Lego Creator pickup truck. It's a beauty. It's a vintage model. It looks vintage. We don't use the word old around here. It's vintage. That's how we are. And it has some wood on the back of the bed, and then Clark filled the bed up with all the little stuff that he built, including some pumpkins, some flowers, a wheelbarrow, some tomatoes, a basket of those, and a watering can and a sign. So it's all completely filled up, and I just love this model. I built this over a few days, mostly chatting, doing a little bit of building, but I'm just having so much fun with this series. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from it, from people saying how much it means to them, and for those people, that's why I do it. I'm having a blast. It's become a daily thing. I was a little worried about getting burnt out, and I'm like, am I going to be able to have enough to talk about to keep this thing going? But so far, we're 5 episodes in, maybe more if you count last weekend, but it officially started this Monday, and it's been great. In fact, we've even done other live streams too. We did some Lego stunts building and did a live stream on that, which I titled Our Most Fun Lego Stream Ever, and it was. You can see some of those behind me here, but if you didn't see that, the video is still up on the channel if you would like to spend a few hours with Greg and Clark going from Target on Monday, which is what we did that day. Clark had off on Monday, and it was so much fun. It was like the old days of remote learning kindergarten where Clark would just have a little bit of work, but our whole day was kind of wide open. In this case, it was Columbus Day, but it was also Teacher and Service Day, so the kids had off. We went off to Target. We bought the stunt set among some other things as well, and we came home, had some Taco Bell. That was Clark's request. It was just like, what does Clark want to do today on Monday? Had some Taco Bell, and then we came downstairs, fired up a live stream, and we built the entire Lego stunts. What is this set called? It's 60295. And man, this feels like 5 a.m. Lego. This is Stunt Show Arena. It's a $100 set, so it's a little salty, but there's so much fun with this. For you listeners that are listening, it's got 2 monster trucks, it's got 2 crushable cars, it's got a flaming ring of fire, it's got those little charged up motorcycles that are really fun to play with, and it's got some barrels, some jumps. It's the most fun that you can have in Lego, in my opinion. And I think it's awesome to see Lego come out with a theme that actually works. You know, they're trying this stuff with like Lego Hidden Side and the technology involved in that. They've got video and the technology involved in that. You know what's way more fun than technology and getting kids on devices and iPads and stuff that they don't need to be on? Getting some cool little motorcycles and jetting them across with their little motors and jumping them through a ring. That's fun. That's what kids want to do. And it looks like it's working because these sets, double VIP happened this week, which we'll talk about here in a second. But these sets are sold out on Lego's website. They're going like hotcakes. You start putting monster trucks in sets and little motorcycles, kids love that stuff. And that's what Lego needs to focus on. Don't go for the gimmicks. I know kids are into technology these days, but that's not what you are, Lego. And I think they're hopefully realizing that. I wish they'd realize that with Mario, because I would love myself just some straight up Lego Mario. Give me some Mario Kart, give me Smash Bros, just give me a bunch of regular minifigs with some sets. That's all I want. I don't even want the little question block thing with the things that pop out, which I do like the question mark block, but I don't like all this stuff inside of it. So I'm thinking about just building like the shell of that if I could try to do that on the cheap. But double VIP day was exciting for me. Well, it was just a day for me. It's an entire week for everyone else, I suppose. But I ended up picking up the corner garage, which is, I think, on its way here because that's going to be retiring. And that's one that I missed out on. So I needed that in my life, obviously. Needs in the world of Lego are very real. And I also bought Santa's Visit, which is like this year's Christmas set. I didn't miss it. I skipped it last year. It was the Elf Clubhouse. I didn't like that build. This one I like, but I'm going to reskin it from like a light blue to a brown because the place to me really feels like a cabin. It's demanding to be that. And I don't like the light blue. So I'm going to see if I can recolor it in different pieces. So we'll see if that works out. But I bought those two, spent $300 in one day. That was actually the same day that I bought that stunt set. And I got the Harry and Hermione that was on a deal for $60 at Global Figures. They were half off at Target. So I spent a lot in the world of Lego this week. I also ended up getting the advent calendars, and it's just, I need to stop at this point. It's getting a little out of hand. But if you guys are kind of thinking about buying Lego, which surprisingly there's a number of people that are, you should probably do it now if you're trying to do it for Christmas because, first of all, double VIP may or may not still be happening the day I'm uploading this, but shipping and supplies are going to be limited this year. There's a lot of stuff going on, at least here in the United States. I don't know if this is a worldwide thing, but ports are getting locked up and you're going to have an issue getting stuff. So if you're trying to get a gift for a family member, maybe your kids, maybe your parents, I would act now. Supplies are limited. Act now, whatever they say on infomercials. But yeah, we got that stuff. And if I don't get anything else, I'm happy. That's the stuff that I really needed. The Jurassic Park gate is kind of out there calling me a little bit, but I think I can live without that for now, at least. I just want the dinosaur. Dang it. So many people are they're like, I just want the gate. I'm like, I just want the dinosaur. Let's team up. You take that. I'll take this. We'll split it somehow. I don't know, but we talked about all this on 5 a.m. Lego. I was worried about today's episode. I was like, geez, I've been live streaming so much. Am I going to have anything to talk about? I do, surprisingly. Like, how is this even possible? I guess it's because the only person I talk to during the day is myself, extensively, and Roxy Bear, of course. But she doesn't say much back. So this is kind of like my place to kind of just talk about things and release. And I love this so much. I think, Missing Pieces has always been that thing that I've really enjoyed because it's kind of like my little audio journal. It's like my therapy session, if you will, with all my free therapists that I don't pay you guys anything, and I appreciate it. But I love the interactivity of 5 a.m. Lego. And if you haven't been to one, and if you haven't been able, like maybe the scheduling just doesn't work for you, they're all unlisted right now on my channel. You can just go to my channel, and then if you scroll down a little bit, there's a playlist. It's titled 5 a.m. Lego. All the videos are sitting in there, and that's now, and that'll be in the future. So if you're listening to this in 2096 or whatever, you can go hopefully find thousands of 5 a.m. Legos there. And it's some fun stuff. I'm just having a great time. The people there are awesome. I'm really seeing this changeover. Like my chats used to be pummeled with kids and just like a lot of that, a lot of like people getting timed out, people getting blocked, like just a lot of spams type stuff. But I think I found this magical moment or this time where it's just full of like some really awesome people. So I almost don't want to talk about it because I don't want it to get too popular. This to me has the feeling of the late night radio shows from in the past where it was just like some chill people and having a great time. Most of the people that are watching it or listening to it are from the UK. We've got some Australians, people from New Zealand. It's all of the international crowd. And I'm sorry, USA crowd, but these people, there's some good peeps out there. So I won't say they're my favorites, but I'll say that I'm really enjoying it quite a bit. And I'm going to keep doing it, at least for now. That could change at any point. Like, there could be a day where I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock anymore. But, I mean, even to make a 5 o'clock show, you got to get up before 5 o'clock, right? Like, if I'm going to flip the switch at 5 and be like, we're live, you got to be up early. So my sleep schedule has been weird this week. Like, today I got up at 4:15 a.m. Earlier this week, I got up at 3:30 a.m., which I should say that night I was destroyed by like dinner time. I was like done. I went to bed at like 7:30. So don't think that I found like some type of life hack where I'm getting so much more out of the day. My schedule has just shifted earlier. But I love that bewitching hour, if you will, of 5 to 6 a.m. where everything is quiet and it's just like we're here, we're vibing. It's like Missing Pieces, but with other people with me, and I just love it. So my win of the week, 5 a.m. Lego, and hopefully for some other people out there, that was their win of the week too, to be like a part of it. Be a part of it. And it's crazy. Like I hesitate to do this, but I look at the analytics just to see like what's the scoop with this. And it's awesome because like new people are subscribing every day off of these streams. Like I leave them up for a bit, and whether they're subscribing when it's live or after, people are watching it and they're like, you know what? And this is the cool part. They're like, I want to be a part of this. This is like what I want in my life. And that's the audience I'm trying to capture. I'm trying to capture the Missing Pieces crowd, not necessarily the crowd that's like, I want to see an update on Minecraft World. And I totally respect that. That's fun, right? But I want the people that are here for this. This is what I want. It's a tough crowd to find, but we'll get there. And I truly believe, and I tell you guys this all the time, and I'm not lying about this. If there's something that you want, and you're willing to work for it, you will get it. And if you're consistent with it, you can't be stopped. And that's how I feel with 5 a.m. Lego. It's going to be a big thing. This is going to be a part of people's days, a part of people's lives, a part of their schedule, in the same way that Missing Pieces is. And I'm freaking pumped. So yeah, the hype is built. The hype is built, my friends. So I talked about double VIP. I talked about 5 a.m. Lego. I talked about Guys Day, which was our Monday, and how much fun that was. We also, I think we did a little bit of gaming that night too. We gamed all the way up until Mrs. Brickitect got home, and she was like, hey, you've had Clark all day, send him up. So we wrapped that, but it was a blast of a day. I wish I had all these days of Clark, man. There was this part of me, like I loved last year for what it was. It was like our final hurrah in all these years that Clark and I have had together. But then there was a part of me that this year I was like really looking forward to having this freedom of my days to like kind of do the things that were on my list and the things that I want to get done. And I am enjoying that as well. But I still miss the little dude. And I do like want to go back to those days. I just wish there was like some more balance there. Like if he was just in school like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or better yet, Tuesday and Thursday, and then we had Monday, Wednesday, Friday together, I love it. But we're still doing our thing. We're still making videos. We shot a couple Lego videos this week for you guys. I've been shooting Greg's World vlogs, kind of a funny series called Home Alone with Greg, play off of Home Alone with Clark. And just like with 5 a.m. Lego, the feedback on Home Alone with Greg is awesome. Like I have comments now on YouTube, which is amazing after years of not having them because of YouTube and their nonsense. And all these comments are just like so uplifting. And I'm just like, I think I found my thing, guys. There was this moment where I was worried, like, okay, we've been living in this world where it's like Clark mostly. And like, you know, I'm obviously there with him, but Clark he's obviously the star of the show, right? Like everybody loves Clark, man. What's it going to be like when that transitions over and Clark's at school every day? Is this going to be sustainable? Can I keep like making stuff? So I just committed to myself that, you know, I'm just going to record things, record what I'm doing. It's kind of behind the scenes of the life of a Lego YouTuber, essentially, or just a YouTuber in general, a self-employed content creator, if you will. And the feedback on it's been awesome. Lots of people enjoying the episodes. I think it's kind of fun seeing like what someone does in a day. If you like our Lego videos, it's like, oh, this is like behind the scenes to the extreme. And I'm having fun with it. The feedback's good. It just seems like everything I'm doing right now is clicking with people and myself. And to me, it doesn't get much better than that. So you're seeing Greg in episode 101 on Cloud 9, and I'm just having a great time. So let's talk about another thing that happened this week. If you're watching the Greg's World videos, this is going to be slightly out of order, but I ended up ordering a new camera for my vlogs because I'm obsessed with cameras and audio and trying to get the best that I can for like the best price, and finding like that balance between like awesomeness and does it make sense financially. And I've been researching these cameras, and I found one in particular that I was like, this is going to be great. It's the Sony A7C, and I found a lens for it, which is the Sony 20mm f1.8 lens. And this means nothing to you, and it doesn't need to. Just know that I ordered this. I was waiting for it. There was a whole conundrum with FedEx and waiting for it and trying to get it. And I finally did get it. And I was all hyped about this thing, right? Like the expectations were there. And then when I went to use it and I tried it out, I realized that after spending $2,600 on this setup, this combination, it really wasn't that much dramatically better than the camera that I've been using for years, or my little Sony point and shoot camera that I was going to say maybe is down here. It usually follows me around, but I think it's charging right now. Given a little bit of a rest, that camera is like $700. This thing was $2,600, and I'm just like, no, I just can't justify that. So after I'm done recording this episode here, I'm going to be going to the post office to pick up some mail, which I haven't done in a while. So if you send us mail, you would have seen it yesterday. Everything's we're time traveling right now. Yesterday's mail video, I'm picking up here in a little bit. Oh, that's weird. And I'm going to be returning that camera. It's just, you can't justify it for the amount of money that costs. It's super heavy. It looks good, but it's just like not for my style. So I'm going to save that money and we're going to put it towards something else. There is some camera stuff that's coming out later this month that maybe I'll talk about later as the time comes. But just, I guess a lesson to me this week in this is that you don't always need to be on the quest for the next biggest thing, because sometimes it isn't that. And if no one is complaining about your video quality and you're like the only person that's really obsessed with it, maybe just let it go. I just want this to be as good as I can make it. And I work really hard on that. In fact, 5am Lego is kind of a reflection of that. I've got like this setup that I've been moving around and trying stuff out. Like you can see if you're watching this, you probably notice my microphone's up on this like microphone stand now that I had in storage. Roxy Bear, she's over this conversation. She's like, Greg, don't talk about tech. Don't talk about tech. This isn't what the people want. But I have this, and then like I moved this off the table because I heard like some reverberation that was happening as Clark and I were building. And then I have like a B cam, which is this GoPro that's on a stick, and it's going to be done soon, Rox, I promise. And then I move this around for my like building cam, and I've just been having a lot of fun with this. I'm going to get really long cords and have this go around the studio so I can be followed with all the stuff that I'm working on. And I'm just like really excited and passionate about all these things that I'm working on. And I'm having fun, which is the most important thing. So I guess there's a lesson in there somewhere where maybe the grass isn't always greener. That could be the lesson. If you want to take it away from the world of cameras and tech and all that, just know that maybe sometimes the place that you're at is just fine. You don't always need to be going on to the next biggest and better thing, because if you're comfortable with what you have and you're happy there, just stay there. And that's where I'm at. Let's talk about Watchitect. I've been getting into the NFL again, guys. I used to watch sports quite often. I watched NFL, NCAA football. I would watch NBA. And I did that a lot in my like 20s. And then eventually I realized that it was just a giant waste of time. There was, like, if your team wins or loses, the next day you're still the same person. I think LeBron James actually said that to someone one day. Like, when I think he lost a championship, and in true, I guess, bad sportsmanship, and I don't think this is a direct quote or anything. He's like, tomorrow, he just lost. He's like, tomorrow I'm going to wake up as me, basically, or as a millionaire or whatever, billionaire probably at this point, and you're going to wake up as you, talking to like whoever's watching a Cleveland Cavaliers game or whatever. I don't even know if that's where he was playing. I should probably research this before I gave him a bad name on this. But when he said that, I was like, he's right. Like, tomorrow you are just going to wake up as yourself. Your team won a championship last night. It starts all over again the next day. It doesn't really matter. Is it worth sitting through all these commercials and ads and stuff? Just like I view the NFL as it's really just commercials with a little bit of gameplay in between. Like the game is just an excuse for the commercials, honestly. And I found a life hack thanks to the YouTube algorithm gods. They shine down upon me. NFL posts the games, but it's like 15 minutes of all of the best stuff that happened. So I'm like, okay, let me just watch this. Watched several of them actually, but I sat down and I'm like, oh, this is fun. You can kind of follow along with it. And I realized what I like about the NFL, and specifically these videos that they edit down for you, is the storyline. I love the way that a storyline of a game plays out because I'm all about story. That's like the life that I want to live. And it's, it's one thing seeing scores or whatever, but when you sit down and you watch the 15 minutes of a 48-minute game or something like that, and you see the actual 15 minutes that mattered, it's fun to like follow along with that. So I watched several of those and I'm like, oh, this would be kind of neat to watch week after week. You can follow these various teams. I don't necessarily have a favorite team per se, but you can sit down and follow these teams and see what's happening. And if you can remember what happened the week before with them and get the gist of it all, it's kind of neat. So I might be getting back into watching sports, but on a limited basis. And in like 1 hour, I could basically watch like 4 games. And I like that a lot. So we're back. But that was kind of like it for me this week. It wasn't like anything too dramatic or amazing. It was just me enjoying the life of being a streamer, enjoying that day with Clark, getting some double VIP. I guess it was an amazing week. What am I talking about? Heck yeah, it was an amazing week. When isn't it, right? You wake up today and you're alive. It's an amazing day. You do that 7 times in a row. It's an amazing week. Let's talk about you guys, though. Enough about me. You've heard enough of this week about me. Let's talk about your guys' goals for 2 years from now. I've included a list here of everyone that replied back, and these are long comments, the ones I like the most, so there are no apologies here from anyone. But if you're curious to see what the brickitectors out in the world want to do and want to be, and maybe be inspired by these people and their dreams, this is the part of the podcast for you. We're going to go into listener feedback, starting with a guy that I love to no end. Builder Buds. Love his channel. Love everything he's doing. I try hyping him up whenever I can. Just let me go, guys. He says, congrats on 100. Speaking of hyping, he hypes me up a little bit here, but we'll get into this. He says, I went back and listened to the very first Missing Pieces and had several takeaways I thought I'd share. I like this because I don't even remember what I talked about in Missing Pieces episode 1. He says, your audio was fantastic even back then. How about that? He says, you haven't hardly missed a week in 2 years, as that one was recorded in September 2019, literally a podcasting Iron Man. You were getting ready to cross over to 70,000 subs, and you could tell you were just on cloud 9 about. There's to 100 more. And since you like long comments, for me in 2 years, I don't want much to change. I like this. I'd love to be working the same job, and I'd love to still be creating content on YouTube. I just really feel thankful to have the life that I have and the people in it. And in 2 years, if everything is the same, I'll be super happy. You know what my favorite thing about your comment is your line about how you'd like to continue making content on YouTube, because I always worry that you're going to stop making those. It gets discouraging when your content's good enough and it deserves more people that are watching it. And to see someone that keeps going, even in those odds, I just love that. I love the drive. So more power to you, Ronnie. But it's funny you use the word cloud 9. I used the word cloud 9 earlier too. It doesn't take much to get me excited. I can be excited about getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and doing a live stream. If you can be excited about that, you can be excited about anything. I'm just I live a life of passion and obsession. In fact, I just saw a shirt earlier today. I'm getting back into the graphic shirt scene. For a while, I wasn't going to do graphic shirts because I always noticed if I wore a shirt that said Nike on it or something like that, everyone's like, oh, you're sponsored by Nike. And I just I got over that. And I'm like, you know what? If a company's not paying me, why should I? But I realized that graphic shirts can be it can be someone's highlight of their day in some ways. So I'm trying to get cool, funny shirts too. And I found a site that did that thanks to Brad, one of our members, and also a guy that you're going to be hearing from here in just a moment. So I'm going to get some cool shirts and some funny ones. Now you're all looking at my shirt. Don't look at this one. And I'm excited about that. But I wanted one that said obsessed. It was in the Coca-Cola font. It said obsessed. And I was like, dude, that kind of describes me a little bit. So I might snag that one and some other ones too. There's some really cool ones out there. But that can be a thing. Every morning I'm sitting here live streaming. You can see my shirt. Why don't I have something on there that can brighten your soul a little bit maybe? especially if I can do it on the cheap. So little something to think about. But yeah, it's crazy to think that 2 years ago I was on my way to 70,000 and was stoked about that. Here I am, like 150 some thousand. It doesn't even matter to me anymore. I don't even really care or look at the subs. What I care about is how many people are engaging with my stuff. How many people join in my 5 a.m. stream that are actually alive at that time. How many people listen to Missing Pieces. How many people watch our regular videos. That's like the true number, right? And as long as there's people out there that are enjoying it, I see no reason to not continue. But I appreciate your feedback. And dude, I wish nothing more for you than for everything to stay the same. Let's hope like nothing, 2019, let's hope that nothing crazy happens in the next year that derails everything about our lives. Let's move on to 2022, guys. Let's go with Dr. Green for the next one, the master of Pringles, longtime supporter of the channel, and just a classy fellow overall. He says, congrats on reaching episode 100, Greg. You're almost at the same number of episodes as there been Star Wars. That's true. I mean, how many Star Wars were there at this point? About 112, 115? We're almost there. Star Wars detectors, come on. You guys need to loosen up a little bit. Come on now. I can confirm that I did indeed listen to on my Monday morning commute. I always find it good fuel for thought. I like that you're commuting and then you equate Missing Pieces to fuel. I see what you did there. It says, your thinking of goals got me to think of mine. Professional. Complete my training and get a secure work placement afterwards. I've really enjoyed my tester job thus far, and I'm confident I'm entering a career I'll always be happy in. Financial. I'll be in a position where I'm able to move out. The goal isn't necessarily to be moved out, just ready for it. And I hope to get there without taking any unnecessary debt along the way. My man, yes, personal. Just make a decent crack at my backlogs, especially video games. I know blasphemous talk on a Lego channel. No. There's so many games I feel I'm missing out on. Hopefully, now that I've streamlined my hobbies, I can finally get to the games I've been dying to play for years. Congrats again. Looking forward to the next 100 episodes. I want to say congrats on your punctuation. You are absolutely on point in every spot. Mrs. Brickitect, she would give you an A+ right now, Dr. Green. But yeah, you can talk about, this is Missing Pieces. We talk about video games here. There's Gamer Tech News, right? Or Greg's Arcade News, whatever it's called now, because they change the name every couple weeks. Oh, dude, I've got a video game backlog bigger than you could imagine. If you think my Lego backlog's bad, my video game one is too. I've found, though, since we're on the topic of video games, Dr. Green, I'm glad you brought it up, because that's what we're here for. This isn't even a Lego podcast. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's a video game podcast. I realized the thing that I was enjoying most about video games in my late 20s was finding deals on video games. Lego has kind of replaced that. I'm just a deal hunter at heart. I would always I just love finding deals. But the difference between those is I enjoy building Lego and displaying Lego way more than I enjoy playing video games. I feel like this truck, for example, that I showed earlier that you podcast people have no idea what I'm talking about. This, after all these hours, is done as I drop it. It's a thing of beauty. It's something that I'll sit and look at. And as I told the people on 5 a.m. Lego, it's going to be one of those things that when I look at this truck, I'm going to think of that time in my life where I started that show and how awesome it was to have the opportunity to speak to all these people and hopefully to have a little bit of a positive impact on someone's day out there that happened to be listening to it. With a video game, even if I streamed that, I wouldn't have that same feeling. At the end of it, when the credits roll and you're done with it, and this is not to offend video game people, I just don't feel like I accomplished nearly as much as I would have if I built something and had it in hand. I guess it comes down to it being a physical product. So for that reason, I'm not overly into video gaming these days. I do love playing sports games just to blow off some steam, specifically FIFA. I enjoy playing that quite a bit. I've got the new Madden. It came with my Xbox that I got. And I'm thinking about playing through a season on there, just picking a team randomly and then playing through a season. I just like the short bursts. I started playing Red Dead Redemption. I just don't know if I want to get that invested into that game and the story. But I have people that reach out and they're like, I've been playing video games my entire life and it's literally the best game I've ever played. So I'm like, maybe I should. But I love Lego so much, if you can't tell. And it's kind of where I want to spend my time the most right now. But that could change at any time. Thank you, Dr. Green, for the inspiration about that conversation. Builder Buds, of course, obviously, thank you for that, sir. But now we go on to Brad. He says, congrats on your 100th episode. I really hope you can still be doing this years from now. I watch your videos and streams and support your interests and passions. Brad leaves me a nice comment on literally every video I do. I'm just like, Brad, To have gotten to know you through Discord and chatting with you has been a blessing for me. I find you being genuine and authentic is far more interesting than Lego. Remember, Lego is just the vehicle, not the destination. That's what I tell myself. I told Cody this yesterday. She was talking about teaching. I said, you know what? With these kids, like so many kids, believe it or not, that are 16, 17 years old, they're not entirely interested in learning English or having someone teach them English and literature and stuff. I said, think of teaching as the vehicle. The destination is to maybe impact one of these kids in some way, like in a positive way. Be that person that maybe they don't have at home. Be a positive light in what could be a very dark world in some of these people's minds and in lives. And that's kind of where I want to be in my Lego collecting journey. Like Lego, this is all meaningless. You know, I built a truck this week. Let's keep going back to the truck. Sure, I built this truck, but this truck wasn't the purpose. The purpose was to hang out with people, to chat, to interact, to have fun. That's what it was all about. That's the destination. This truck's not driving anywhere but into your hearts. Oh, goodness gracious. Anyways, let's move on with Brad's comment here as I completely get off the charts, off the road, off the rails if we're building a train. He says, there's nothing wrong with focusing on one's personal health. I too have been focused on my own health and trying to eat better and trying to start feeling better. I think doing a walking podcast would be great. I definitely would enjoy listening to you talk about anything during your walks. One of my future goals is to find a better job. Currently, I work nights and would love to find an equal or better paying job during the day. Also, finding that employer that appreciates a person with 20 years of experience. When I hear you talk about your old job, there are so many similarities to my job, but listening to your advice made me realize we only have one chance at life, and it's better to take a risk and make a change than being unhappy. So I'm on the hunt. My win of the week is that I purchased the Lego Bugatti. Fantastic missing pieces as always, my dear friend. Brad, I'm so proud of you, man. The fact that you bought no, I'm just kidding. Not the Bugatti part. I'm proud that you're realizing something that I think a lot of people need to realize, and that's that playing it safe is not always the best thing. Like if I would have played it safe, you wouldn't be hearing from me right now, probably. I'd be sitting at my job right now. I'd be pretty darn miserable. I'd have money, right? Like it was stable, but it wasn't my passion. It wasn't what my calling was, in my opinion. It wasn't where my heart is. It was the opposite of that. And sometimes you need to do things to survive. It's nice living indoors, as I always say. It's nice to have food in your stomach. It's nice not to freeze to death. But once those needs are met and you know that you're employable, because you are employable, if you've held a job for 20 years, you're very employable. There's other opportunities out there for you, especially these days and times. Every place is looking for workers. I don't know if that's just at the low end and the low level, but people are in demand, just like many things. And it's important to know your worth and to know where your strengths are and what you truly want to do. That doesn't mean that you need to become a YouTuber and make a podcast. It can be anything. But don't waste your talents working on someone else's goals when you have goals of your own. It's important to try to at least accomplish those. And if worst case scenario, and this is my thought and I talked about this last week, when I quit my job to pursue this, I thought, at least I can say I did it. I tried. And if we failed, at least I gave it my best go, and we'll just go back into the financial field again and go back into that life. I don't know what that life would look like for me at this point. I don't know if when you're unhappy, if you just kind of cope. Because I'm so far removed from it now. It's now been over 4 years. I don't know if you just cope and you kind of just develop a new level of just like, oh, this is my life. But I've just been so happy for so long. And I don't say this to flex on you. I just want to let you know that there's other opportunities and other ways that you can live, that I just wake up every day excited. And I think that's a part of why 5am Lego exists, is because it's just like, this is my calling. And it's awesome that there's people out there that want to be a part of it. And I'm happy for that. So thank you. And Brad, thank you for leaving such a thoughtful comment and the kind words. And I wish you the best of luck on your job hunt. I guarantee. Mrs. Brickitect? Hey, babe, how is your day going? It was going good till you interrupted me. Throw my phone. How dare you interrupt my podcast? I'm not going to text her back. Should I? Okay, I'm just going to text her real quick, if you guys don't mind. I'll try to fill this space with something because I don't want to leave her hanging. I'll say recording a podcast, thinking of you, and Oh my goodness. And loving you like crazy. Let's see what her response is to that. Recording a podcast, thinking of you, and loving you like crazy. She read it. It's true. I hope she doesn't watch us back. It's true though. We were just talking about her, right? She's responding now. Before we go on to Triple Diamond Productions response here, we're going to see what she types back. Hopefully she's having a good Friday, last day of the week. Hopefully everything's going well. She says, "Oh, how sweet." She's like, you lie, Miss Rainey. All right, let's go on to, I'm just going to leave her hanging. Let's go on to Triple Diamond Productions, who starts out with the best way possible. It says, longtime listener, first time caller. I would love to find a way to have people call in to this. If anyone knows the technology for that, if you're a technological detect, hit me up. I want to find a way that I can have people call. It says, first goal, catch up with missing pieces. All right, get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, wait a minute. She says, love you too. Aw. You're sweet. Okay, this is getting too mushy for Missing Pieces 101, guys. You got to subscribe to our OnlyFans to get this kind of content. I just ruined this person's whole thing. I'm sorry. It's just unfortunate timing, Triple Diamond. He says, longtime listener, first time caller. First goal, catch up with Missing Pieces. Started number 1 when you were in the 60s and finally caught up and couldn't think of a better episode to get caught up on. You hit me at 100. Yeah, we did it, baby. As for actual goals for the next 2 years, the first thing I want to do is get back into shape, especially since I'm in the Army Reserves. I'm noticing a trend here with all of us. We all need to get in shape. Greg's Fitness coming soon, guys. Watch me try to do 3 push-ups, and I'm going to challenge you to do 4. Next week, next thing I want is to be getting ready to step out of my current job and stepping out into my own field of work, but I'm not entirely sure what that will be just yet. I also want to have or be close to having enough money saved up to move from Texas back to my home state of Montana. Oh my goodness. I just would love to visit Montana. Beautiful. In complete honesty, Greg, you've inspired me to start taking control of my life and going after what I want. And if you can inspire as many people as you have, I have no doubt you can make it to 200. Thank you for 100 great episodes. And here's to 100 more. I'm holding up my mug of beer, although I don't like beer. Can we do Coca-Cola? Keep up the great work and keep on finding those missing pieces. Thank you very much. Good luck on your move. I'm sure you'll be able to pull that off. And I hope you find a line of work that you truly love to do, that you can provide as much value to the world as you can. I was telling Mrs. Brickitect about this yesterday too. I was saying about how in my previous life, and we were talking about like teaching, and she was saying about maybe if she could do something online where she could like inspire people in like a similar way, I guess. I was saying about how I would only help out X number of people per day. Like there's only so many people that you could call or give a personal loan to, and like they think that they've been helped. But I would rather be on the other end of that where I'm getting people out of debt. But there's only so many people. Now to think, like I mentioned earlier, I looked at the analytics on these 5 a.m. Lego shows, and 2,800 people tuned into that, even if it was just for a few minutes. It's like, dang, it's quite the reach. It's crazy. Whether they might have clicked on it and been like, oh, this is garbage, and like unsubscribed or whatever. But there might be a couple people out there that were like, hey man, my Monday's better now. I'm rocking Monday. I hope if you're listening to this, I know there's people that listen to this, they wait for this on Monday. I've heard from them. I hope you're rocking your Monday right now. Even if you're in like the grind, doing that thing you don't want to do necessarily, trying to get some money together to move to Montana. Dude, you could be that guy at the Dollar General. You could have a smile on your face. You could be like high-fiving, whatever it is. I think that's how I'd want to go in. I don't want to go in like this. I don't go in like this. You could sit up, do your thing, man. Thank you for the comment, Triple Diamond. Sorry, Mrs. Brickitect interrupted you. I will make sure she hears about that tonight, if you know what I mean. I'm starting over again. Welcome, everyone, to episode 101. This next one is from Michael. It says, great vibe on the 100th episode. In terms of goals, there are a few that I would like to put out in the universe. At the top of the list has to be to advance further in my career, which means I need to put more focus back into my writing and publishing. I would also like to minimize my life. There's nothing like moving from a home you've owned for 20 years to make you realize how much stuff you have and how much of it you really do not need. This also brings me into my win of the week. We will be closing on the sale of our home that we sold is about an hour from my office. And after 12 years of making the drive back and forth each day and 250,000 miles I have put on my car, I now have decreased my commute to less than 2 miles from my office. Currently, we are in a rental, but hopefully by the time the episode 200 of Missing Pieces is aired, the market in my area will have cooled enough to build our dream home. As a morning person myself, it's great to hit the office at 6 a.m. Monday mornings and to see a new Missing Pieces ready to recharge me for the week. Yes! 6 a.m. Monday, baby, let's go! What time is it now for you? Probably like 6:40. Are we still doing okay? Proud of you, man. Who cares if you're renting or buying? Dude, the buying right now it's deadly out there. The real estate market is so hot for, I guess it's hot for sellers. Buyers, you're going to get caught on fire on it. But the fact that you just got so much of your life back. We're talking about 12 years of driving an hour every day. So that is a total 1 hour commute one way. Yeah, he said about an hour from his office. So we're talking 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week, 520 hours a year. You're literally working like an extra, what is that? Like an extra 12 weeks per year just driving, in addition to the 50 weeks that you're working throughout the year. Dang. You just got so much of your life back, and less fuel, less vehicle maintenance. Like everything about this makes sense. Glad for you, Michael. Congratulations, man. I hope you enjoy your new place. Hope you enjoy the commute. The fact that it's 2 miles away, you could probably go home for lunch now too, maybe. I don't know what your situation is, but that was something I always wished for. I always commuted it was probably like 25 minutes, which I like that though, because I would listen to podcasts myself. I used to listen to Dave Ramsey podcasts, get all hyped up about getting debt free, so someday I could live my dream. And I enjoyed that time. I really did. But an hour every day, that's a little brutal. So you're doing it, man. Hopefully, get back to me at episode 200. Hopefully you're still around. Literally, like just here, not like alive. You're going to be alive. You're going to be thriving. But let me know where you're at. Hopefully you're living in your dream house, sipping champagne, looking out your beautiful expanse of I don't know where you live at. Let's go for the one side. You're looking at the beach. The waves are crashing. You look out this window. You have the mountains. You look out this side. I don't know. I'm going to have you live in some type of weird dimension where there's all these different areas. But I just hope that you find happiness in wherever you're at, because that's where you need to find happiness. Next one comes from Sotos. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Sotos. Sotos. Better luck next time, Greg. It says 100 episodes of Missing Pieces. 100 episodes of fun. Laughter, good times, sad times, but overall great and emotional moments. What are you talking about? Missing Pieces is anything but emotional. Oh yeah, never mind. You got that. He says, a podcast that tells me the story of a man and his family through his Lego collecting journey every day. Greg, I wish you good health and all the best in your life and the people you love. I'll always be a true, devoted follower of your work. Many hugs and hellos to Clarkman and Mrs. Brickitect. Oh, and 5am Lego. Truly the new video fantasy. Wow, okay. I guess that wasn't as much of a goals thing as it was like fill up my heart comment, but thank you very much for that. I try not to put those in here because I feel like it's just like self-promoting, but I do appreciate the kind words, and I like the storyline. I might just switch my descriptions in my videos over to this 100 episodes of, I guess I could just call it Missing Pieces, a podcast of laughter, good times, sad times, but overall great emotional moments. A podcast that tells the story of a man and his family through his Lego collecting journey every day. I think you nailed it. I'm going to steal that if that's okay. Don't hit me with a copyright strike on that. Next one. Hopefully this one has some goals with it. I want to know your goals, Sotos. What kind of goals do you have? Let me know in episode 102. Roxy, I know. I'm almost done, okay? Jeez. Tracy says, longtime follower here. She says, yay for 100 episodes. I have seen every one the week of it. She's been there. And I always read her comments because she always leaves a nice one. It has become a part of my Sunday, which is good because Sunday is the one day that I don't see my kids at all. It can feel really lonely, and watching Missing Pieces helps me use the alone time to refocus and evaluate my week like you do. My big goal is to finish my teaching degree, and my small goal is to get more organized. Thank you, Greg, for 100 great episodes. Thank you, Tracy, I think you probably left me 100 comments, and I probably read 100 comments on these episodes. Thank you so much for that, and good luck on your teaching degree. just teach young kids when they're cute and funny and fun. Although that might be a nightmare too. I don't know. I'm thinking like, being that my wife's a teacher, I think about the world of teaching and what that's like. And I'm like, if I had to go in and teach in front of 16-year-olds, I would literally die. I would walk in there, I would look at that class full of all these teenagers staring at me, and I would die. So for her to do that every day impresses me to no end. Just incredible. I couldn't do it. I can sit here and talk to a few hundred people digitally, I guess, or like through a camera. But if I had to do this in front of you in real life, like if all of you that are listening to this, if you sat down into some chairs and I walked in that room, I couldn't exist. So I guess we have to find our places, and I admire any teacher that's able to do that. But if I had to teach, I would teach kids that are like Clark's age. They're fun. I would have a blast. I'd be like the worst teacher ever, because we would end up like playing with Transformers all day and drawing pictures and probably doing at least 3 hours of recess. So I would probably get fired. But man, we'd have one heck of a fun first grade classroom. I'd probably get some calls from parents. My son has been in your class for the last 6 months and he can't spell anything. I'm like, yeah, have him play kickball. See how good he is at that. I think you could do it in a different way. And that's the kind of teacher I would be. But I couldn't do it with the teenagers. Oh my God, they're so judgmental. They'd eat me alive. Next and last, thank you, Tracy, again. Next and last comment comes from Fajita Films. Like the name. He says, "Hey Greg, congratulations on your 100th episode, and I want to tell you that I really enjoy your videos and they have helped me through a recent move. Not getting to see my friend was and still is rough, and I feel like I always have a friend here for when I'm happy or sad, and I can't tell you enough how thankful I am for you. And I couldn't wait for Sunday every week when I went on my daily walk. Anyway, thank you, and may God bless you forever and ever. Your 13-year-old friend, Judah," or Fajita Films. Aw, that's sweet, dude. I appreciate that. I'll be your friend. That makes me happy to know that, man. I'm sorry that you went through that. This one wasn't really a goal one either, I guess, but that is a real sweet comment. I'm glad that I could be a little part of your life, and I'm happy to accompany you on your walks. I should probably be out there with you, honestly. We should both be walking. Roxy Bear should be walking. She's back here grumbling. Which is what I think we might end up doing. I have to run to the post office, like I said, so the whole time travel thing works. And then I got to call that guy about that Lego and see what's happening with that too. But we have a busy weekend ahead of us. We got some soccer happening and all that fun stuff. And I try to do a little less on the weekends with the family being home. I don't need to be down here grinding away for hours and hours. So we try to work things out and just try to make the best of things. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of Missing Pieces. Kind of a casual one. I don't know whether you guys are more interested in hearing about me and my life every week, or if you're interested in hearing what other people's stuff is. But I think it's fun when we do have things like this that are shared, just to see where people are at. And I mean, you start to see some common things. Some people, just like me, are wishing for better health or to be more in shape. Some people are wishing for new or better careers, advancement in careers, moving. We're all on a little bit of a journey, and we're trying to get there, and we all will. It just takes a lot of focus and some determination, some consistency. And if you have your eyes on it, you'll eventually get there, which leads me to, I guess, my final point here. I started looking at land. I told you last week, I'm going to start working on my goals, and I guess I should give an update on this before you guys all click the button to leave. And I started finding some land in an area. Of course, it's exorbitantly expensive, but at least we're looking, and when that thing does come up, which it inevitably will, and assuming we have enough money, which we inevitably won't, we're going to pounce on it. And that's my goal. My goal is to someday find a nice little spread, whether it has a house on it or not. And I want to have a farm full of animals and chickens and have my in-laws move on to that property with us and just have I don't know, I guess a little commune, if you will, full of animals and good times and family and all the things that matter to me in life. So I'm going to keep working on that grind, and hopefully it works out for me in the same way that it works out for you. But we're all at least we're out there looking, we're thinking about it. And that's the biggest thing. Just don't go through life complacent is what I've taught myself. If you don't have a goal and you're not striving towards something, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're just existing, and don't be that. Have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, have an idea. If you don't have an idea, just start thinking about like, what would my life look like if I wanted it to look like something? Maybe it's as simple as sitting in your basement on a Friday at 12:34 p.m. recording a podcast that a few people are going to listen to. It could be as simple as that, or it could be like, you know what I want to do? I want to be this. Put whatever this is in there for you. And that's where I'm going to leave you this week on Missing Pieces. I hope you had a fun time listening to this. I had a great time recording this. It's what I love to do. I love it. I love it. So we're definitely going to be seeing you Missing Pieces 102. If you'd like to see me in the meantime, if you somehow listened to the last 50 minutes of this or whatever, and the thing that's on your mind isn't, oh, thank God that's over, and it's like, I want more of this, meet me tomorrow at 5 a.m. and we can hang out on 5 a.m. Lego. Only if you're cool, though. I'm only cool people hanging out there. I'd love to chat with you. I'd love for you to be a part of the show. So on that, thank you so much for watching. And as always, we'll find you in the next Missing Pieces.